Hey, what's up guys, it's Disturbed. Today I'm going to be making a pretty long video, just going to be going over every single thing that I think is worth buying. I'm just going to be looking at every single vendor now. This is very similar to the weekly restocks that I used to do back in 1.3, but the difference is that I'm kind of changing up the format, and I'm probably going to change up the name as well from like weekly restock to what's worth buying and patch 1.4 or something like that. But the reason that this has changed is because every single vendor now, I made a specific video on this, I'll probably put a link to it in the description, but every single vendor now has the ability to sell something different. And like every vendor, they have the ability to sell a couple high-ends, and any of these could be god roll items. It could be, a god roll savage glove, god roll reckless chest, like this is a pretty good reckless chest. It could be a god roll performance mod, etc, etc. So I have to go through every single one of these vendors. I have to go to every single safe house, every single DZ checkpoint, and I can't show every single vendor because if I were to do that, it would probably take me, it would be like a 30 to 40 minute long video. So the way that I'm going to do it is I'm only going to show you guys what I think is valuable or worth showing you guys. So for example, out of these two, I'd probably only show you this guy because he has, or no, not this guy. I wouldn't show you this guy because this guy doesn't really have anything worth buying. This SVD isn't very good. It's not a very good roll. This high velocity mag isn't really that great either. So I'd probably just show you this person because this person has a reckless chest. So that's the first thing in the base of operations. This person is selling a reckless chest. I'd probably roll off health and kill for armor, but anyways. And then there's some performance mods as well. But I hope that makes sense, because if I were to go to every single vendor and show you guys every single time what every vendor had and talk over it, it would take forever. So I'm only going to show you guys what I think is worth it. Some people might have different standards as to what they think is worth it, and my apologies. It's just that I really can't sensibly think of putting me checking every single vendor every week into a video. Like, that would just take forever. So hopefully you guys are okay with this format. It makes it a little bit easier for me, as I do have to probably spend 30 minutes every single time, maybe even longer, going to every single vendor. So that would just make it easier on me. But anyways, let's get started. So as you saw right there was a pretty good reckless chest, and now we're just gonna run down here. This is probably the best thing that they're selling right now. Make sure to get this stuff quickly though, because it does restart tomorrow. You just got some decent weapons, nothing great here. This is okay in PvE, but this is the best thing. Sustained, deadly, and brutal. It isn't the best in the world, with deadly and brutal being nerfed, but it still is really good. And if you don't have a good LVOA-C, make sure to check it out. And nothing else here is really great either, so that's pretty good to get. There's also a good extended magazine that has mag size, crit damage, and rate of fire, so definitely make sure to pick this up if you don't already have one that has rate of fire. It's a pretty good roll. The mag size on it isn't that great, but it's still decent. And then this is a pretty decent red dot sight for those of you that don't have a main one that has main crit damage and crit chance, or using like an SMG or something. This will be pretty good. So yeah, moving on. Alright, now we're at the special equipment vendor in the terminal. This guy is selling not that many few good things, but he does have this MP7 that is vicious and responsive. And MP7s, people keep saying, oh, MP7s are dead. They're not. They still have the most burst damage out of any SMG in the game, in PvP at least. In terms of what you want in PvP, I would say I'd probably go for sustained damage more, but it still is really powerful. It's not RIP, it's not, oh, it's completely nerfed in the ground. No, it's still a really good gun. So the 34% crit damage isn't the best roll in the world, but vicious and responsive, roll for something like deadly here will be really, really good just as a standalone gun by itself, but also if you're using Alpha Bridge. But vicious, responsive, and deadly would almost be a god roll when using an SMG, so that's a really good roll there. And then nothing else here is really worth it to buy. So yeah, that's pretty nice. Also, actually, I'll just show these. There's a pretty good refresh mask that you can get. The thing is that these cost a lot of Phoenix credits, so you have to make sure to have enough for that. There's a decent striker's mask. Nah, it's not very good. Tactician's vest, Firecrest vest, that's pretty good. Specialized backpack, that's really nice if you don't already have a good one. Backpack, the Nomad, it's decent, could roll off electronics. Hunter's Faith backpack could roll for armor. Deadeye, Deadeye sucks. Alfred's backpack, can't really use that. Lone Star, don't want to use Lone Star anyways. You can probably roll this to go for armor, so that's a pretty decent roll. Same thing here, same thing here. This is okay, but you really shouldn't be using that holster in the first place. Terrible Savage Gloves right there. decent Sentry's Call Gloves, could roll off assault rifle damage and get critical hit damage, though Sentry isn't the best anymore. Some decent stuff here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Moving on. Alright, so at the Safe House Kerman Station, this girl has a really good Vector, and the problem is though is that the crit damage is really low and Vectors aren't that good. But if you're running Alpha Bridge, it's almost perfect. Responsive, Vicious, Unforgiving. If you don't need the Unforgiving, you could roll for Competent here and then maybe have Unforgiving on your other gun. This is just a really good roll because Responsive and Vicious are probably two of the best talents you can get, and Unforgiving is really good as well. So if you don't have any good guns with Alpha Bridge, this will be really nice to pick up. Some people might be interested in it, so I'll just leave it in anyways. Does anybody want a robust chest piece? Increase armor while uncovered by 10%. If you do, it's at the Kerman Station, or not Kerman Station, that's whatever it was before. It's at the hub, Camp Hudson Hub, I think it's called, I don't know. It's at the hub area over here. He also sells a performance mod with support station healing speed. I don't really think this is worth it to get, but you know, to each his own. Alright, now I'm in the safe house called the Cavern. This guy has a pretty okay rapid chest piece. I'd probably roll for health here. Rapid is pretty good in PvP, not the best in PvE, but you know, if you don't have another high-end slot to use, Rapid's a pretty good choice. And he also has a performance mod with pulse duration, which is pretty good as well. Alright, at the safe house in Madison Stand, this guy has a rejuvenated mask, which is good to use against those pesky Predator's Mark users in PvP, so it's okay. It's not the best in the world, but it's okay if you wanted to buy it. He also has a performance mod, smart cover duration, which is not the best, but it is what it is. And then these other two mods that are pretty bad. Alright, here we're in the safe house, the Ward. This lady has a decent reckless chest piece. It's not the best. One of the base of operations might actually better, but if you don't have a good reckless chest, this is a good one to buy. She also has a 1.5% pulse crit chance performance mod, so if you don't have any good performance mods, this one would be a pretty good one to pick up, and this one's not that good either. Alright, at the safe house, the Grind House, this probably isn't that good, but to those of you who are desperate Alpha Bridge users, there's a Predatory Deadly Vector. Predatory is pretty decent in PvP, you know, 35% of your health over 20 seconds isn't too bad. Killing NPCs and stuff, you can get that up almost all the time, just a constant flow of health, and Deadly still pretty nice. Could probably roll for something else here, so that's okay. Not the best in the world, and this is terrible. Alright guys, I'm finished with the safe houses. Now I'm looking at each of the checkpoints. In the checkpoint East 53rd Street, this girl has God Roll Savage Gloves pretty much. 5% crit chance and crit damage. You could roll off marksman rifle damage and get some SMG damage or something else if you wanted. Pretty damn good roll. The stamina isn't the highest in the world, but it's still pretty nice. She has some sticky bomb damage and a okay crit damage suppressor. So yeah, if you don't have good Savage Gloves, I would definitely recommend picking these up. This MP5 isn't that great though. Alright, at the East 46th Street, this vendor has an okay SASG-12 that has Deadly Ferocious, so if you want something to use against NPCs, a shotgun, this one's pretty good. It's not the best, but it's still pretty nice, and then he has an okay rapid chest as well. Alright, at the East 34th Street, we have a pretty damn good extended mag with 104 mag size, 4% crit damage, and 4.7% rate of fire. It's better than that one in the base of operations. I'm actually going to buy myself this one because I don't have that good of one. So it's a pretty damn good magazine if you don't already have a good one. Here in East 31st Street, we have an ACR with Vicious and Unforgiving. You can roll off Dominant here and get something decent. It isn't very good by itself, but if you pair it with another gun on Alpha Bridge, it could be really good. Alright, at the West 39th Street, we have a decent specialized backpack. If you don't want to buy one for Phoenix credits, just roll off skill power for some armor. And then we have a pretty damn good scope if you're going to be running something with mainly headshot damage. It has 16% headshot, 4% crit, 3% crit chance. Is a pretty damn good roll. Alright, at West 42nd Street, there's just another decent assault rifle if you're going to be using Alpha Bridge. Unforgiving, Swift, and Fierce. Get off Unforgiving, or not Unforgiving, get off Swift or something else. It's okay, it's probably not the best in the world, but if you really don't have anything else to use and you really want to use assault rifles, it's okay. Alright, now we're done with all those vendors. Now we're just going to look at all of the Dark Zone vendors inside of the Dark Zone, like we did back at 1.3, and see if they have anything good, and then we're going to be done. So starting off in DZ6, this guy has a Reclaimer mask that is not very good. Firecrest chest piece, that's okay. Banshee's backpack, that's pretty damn nice. If you don't already have a good one, you can roll for armor on that. Pretty good firearms roll. Pretty damn nice Banshee's knee pads. Just roll off and get some stamina. Get these two pieces if you're running Banshee. It's pretty good. Final measure holster, it's okay. And then Banshee gloves that aren't that great. You lose out on crit damage. You don't want to do that. But yeah, that's it for DZ6. Alright, now I'm at the DZ 5 weapon mod vendor. Nothing really is good here other than this vent break. It has crit damage and crit chance. I wish it had some headshot damage instead of accuracy, but it's still pretty good if you don't have anything else. And then everything else is pretty bad. Alright, at the gear mod vendor, there's nothing special here, just an electronics mod with armor. So if you don't already have one with armor, I'd recommend picking it up because it can increase your toughness by a pretty good amount just to get this little bit of extra armor. And the performance mod is just a support station healing speed one, but the armor mod is pretty good. Hopefully they have another one tomorrow because I'm in desperate need of that, but yeah. Alright guys, now with the DZ03 weapons vendor, finally almost done after 40 minutes of recording. Alright, let's just check everything for the fuck of it. AUG-A3, not good, not good. This is okay for Alpha Bridge shotguns, I guess, if you want to do that. And not very good. Not very good. Alright, this guy doesn't really have anything that's worth buying other than that M8 if you want to use Alpha Bridge shotguns or something, which is kind of weird, but is what it is. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it. I gotta go eat dinner, so that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for videos similar to this one, and let me know in the comments what you think of this form of video format, if there's anything that I left out that you would have liked me to leave in. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys, and I'll see you later. Peace.